Democrats say they don't mind electing criminals like Hillary Clinton. A teenager armed with a machete slashed a Jewish teacher in southern France, and you'll never guess his religion. Well, then again, maybe you will. Further evidence of the sharp decline of our culture and our society on the Golden Globes. And since it's Monday, let's start the week off right with some jokes, laughter, camaraderie, high fives, and a horrifying gang rape by members of the religion of peace. My name is Howard Riell, and this is Riell Truth. You're listening to the American Freedom Network, streaming live around the world at americannewsnet.com and on Facebook and YouTube and Tumblr, and in the book Riell Truth, Stay Angry. And of course, as always, broadcasting out across the Colorado Front Range on KHNC, Johnstown, Colorado, 1360 AM. The Lion. The call-in number has remained the same for these many years, 877-254-7524. My friends, let's kick things off right. Since it's Monday, brand new week, let's review a news item that I have to confess, I am a grizzled journalist for nearly 4 decades, and I have to tell you, when I read this, it made me sick to my stomach. And so here it is. Hopefully, it will make you sick to your stomach. This is from Shubat.com. Headline: Muslim brags about devastating 7-man gang rape of young German virgin girl, quote, full of dirt and sperm. I quote. This comes from a video. The Muslim rapist says, quote, dude, we were 7 guys. Some on the floor, 3 on the beds. They were bunk beds. 3 were on top, 3 were below. Adim switched off the light and blanked her. He deflowered her. She was a virgin. You must imagine that. Virgin. And we're still 6 guys on top of the bed, dude, and he bang, bang. And we on top of the bed jumped down. She screams, and of course she was fighting back and so on. And we had her legs, dude, bang. One held her over there, the other over there, dude, and man, dude, Sinan, and the others, one after another, dude, virgin, dude, well done, dude. I swear to you, she cried after that. She couldn't go on any longer, and we, like pigs, we spit on her. Sperm and dirt all over her. We really got blanked. The cameraman who's shooting the video says, and you know what? I'm not even going to read you the next quote, even with blanks in it. My friends, I don't mean to come on all cute. It's not cute at all. This is a horror. It is a horror of demonic proportions. And it's happening. My guess, probably happening every day. Somewhere in the world. Somewhere in the world, that is where there are Muslims. We just heard last week about those 1,000 Muslims rampaging through Cologne, Germany, raping and accosting women. Well, here it is. Here it is. This happened in Germany. They got a young girl. Didn't have to be Germany. Could have been Denver, Colorado. Could have been anyone. Could have been your daughter. Or your wife. Or your mother. You know, you and I, we're decent people. And so we think if we ever did something terrible, we'd feel ashamed of it. And we'd feel guilty and we'd hide it. Well, this human garbage, they're proud of it. They're joking. They're laughing. They're high-fiving. It was a good old time. Now, if this was an isolated incident, it would be horrifying enough. But this happens all the time. And it's coming here to America, courtesy of Barack Obama and Hillary Clinton and the Democrats, because they can't get enough Muslims here in America. Well, I have 2 daughters. And so I am especially outraged. Because the powers that be are doing what to prevent this? You know the answer as well as I do. They're doing nothing. In fact, they're doing just the opposite. They're inviting it. They're importing it. You know, we Americans, we're a funny bunch. we'll spend a lot of time watching garbage on TV, like the Golden Globes, which I will get to in a few minutes. When it comes to the stuff we really need to focus on, like this, we'll see the headline and we'll go, oh, that's terrible, and then go on to something else. I don't go on. I'm stopping right here. This is an outrage, and it's the worst kind of outrage, the worst kind of obscenity, because it's a preventable one. It's a preventable one. Imagine having someone with Ebola and telling him to go right downtown on the subway where he can breathe on thousands of people. You wouldn't do it, right? Because that would be, at the very best, irresponsible. At the very worst, it would be a crime. It would be manslaughter, it might be murder. It would be an obscenity, an outrage, and so is this, because it's preventable. To prevent someone with Ebola traveling in a group of people, you need to know who has Ebola. Well, we know who does things like this. The Muslim immigrants rampaging across Europe do things like this. And we've got Muslim immigrants coming into this country every day. 100,000 was the last number I heard. Wait, it's going up. And so unless you want the streets of American cities to be rampaged through, unless you want the mayor of your city to see women accosted, raped, sexually molested, and then go on the air like the mayor of Cologne, Germany, and say, well, women shouldn't dress that suggestively. Well, at that point, you have no society. You have no culture. You got no nothing. All you've got is a grim, brutal fight to survive. And I thought we'd done that here in America. And I thought we were moving forward in America. Screw that. We're moving backwards into a violent dark age. Because of Obama, because of his partner in crime, Hillary Clinton, because of the Democrats. Well, this is a teachable moment because we got an election coming up, in case you didn't know it. And this is our chance, maybe our one and only chance, maybe our last chance to stop it. All right. It's Monday. Now that I've gotten that off my chest, we'll go forward. Riell Truth will continue, my friends. Go nowhere.
The Federal Reserve has led the way in the explosion of debt and the devaluing of your money. They openly say that they need 2% inflation, which simply means they hope to devalue your money, and they want to do this every single year, year after year. I know it's hard to understand, but the Federal Reserve believes in prosperity through debt and growth via the devaluation of your future. To learn more about how to protect yourself, visit us at allamericangold.com or call us at 800-951-0592 and protect yourself against the devaluing of your money. The first beginning session was about it, and we beheld his glory, the glory as of the only begotten of the Father, full of grace and truth. John bore witness of him and cried out, saying, This was he of whom I said, He who comes after me is preferred before me, for he was before me. The Gospel of John, chapter 1, verse 14 and 15. No state shall enter into any treaty, alliance, or confederation, grant letters of marque or reprisal, coin money, emit bills of credit, make anything but gold and silver coin a tender in payment of debts, pass any bill of attainder, ex post facto law, or law impairing the obligation of contracts, or grant any title of nobility
Hi, guys. Welcome back to Riell Truth. You know, if I have one failing as a radio talk show host, it's that I don't talk about Islam enough. I'm going to fix that today. Here's Robert Spencer, been a guest on the show several times. He was just on a couple months ago on Fox News, talking about what happened in Philadelphia. In Philadelphia, a guy shot a cop and said he was doing it in the name of Islam. And then the mayor of Philadelphia said, well, it had nothing to do with Islam. That is the cuckoo world in which we're living. Here's Robert Spencer, a little Riell Truth. Here we go. So, my friends, a quick lesson. You are a schmuck, at least according to the mayor of Philadelphia. The guy shoots a cop and says he's doing it in the name of Islam, but the mayor gets on the TV and says it has nothing to do with Islam because he figures you're stupid enough to swallow that. Well, if he's talking to his Democratic base who elected him, he may just be right because they may indeed be stupid enough to believe him. But anyone in my radio audience knows much better. Let's get to Robert Spencer. Here we go. Exactly correct. You know, I love Robert Spencer. If I could have him on my show every day, I would. He's exactly right. The politicians want it, this immigration from Muslim countries. The people don't want it. And so it's kept under wraps so the people don't get rid of the politicians. It couldn't be more obvious. Exactly right. Tie it all together, our leaders are betraying us to our deadly enemies. Knowingly. They know they're doing it. They're not stupid. They know exactly what they're doing. They want more power, more money. And if your daughter needs to be gang raped, well, so be it. They don't mind. They're cool with it. Item from the Associated Press, Dateline, Paris, France. A teenager armed with a machete slashed a Jewish teacher in southern France on Monday, invoking the Islamic State group and saying he had also planned to go after police, a French prosecutor said. The 15-year-old Turkish Kurd was arrested soon after wordlessly attacking the teacher who was injured in the outdoor attack in central Marseille, said Bryce Robin, the Marseille prosecutor. The teen invoked Allah and the extremist group only after he was detained, saying, quote, "The Muslims of France dishonor Islam and the French army protects Jews," unquote. He attacked the teacher first from behind, slashing him in the shoulder, then went after the man again as he tried to run away, Robin said. The knife attack comes just days after a man armed with a butcher knife was shot to death after authorities said he went after police in central Paris. That man's identity has not yet been confirmed, but German authorities say he had lived in a shelter for asylum seekers in the western city of Recklinghausen. Both incidents coincide with high tension in France, which last week marked a year since the January attacks against the Charlie Hebdo newspaper and a kosher supermarket that left 17 people dead. Over the weekend, 2 churches were burned, and a boar's head and racist inscriptions were found Friday at the Perpignan's main mosque. Unquote. So, my friends, we go from jihad violence to entertainment violence, word violence, cultural violence. And when you look at it, the two aren't really that far apart. What the hell am I talking about? Item from the Daily Mail. Was this the most foul-mouthed Golden Globes yet? And was all the free booze to blame? Bleepers on overtime as Amy Schumer utters the C word and Jonah Hill drops the F-bomb. This year's Golden Globes was ridden with expletives throughout the show. Jonah Hill wore a bear hat as he took to the stage with Channing Tatum and said, quote, "I'm a bear and honey is blanking delicious." Amy Schumer said the C word just minutes after the show got underway. Jamie Alexander shouted blank after getting confused by the teleprompter. Host Ricky Gervais asked Mel Gibson, "What the blank does blank mean?" Unquote. Well, my friends, you know, I was born too late. If I'd been born a few decades earlier and someone had offered me a talk show, it wouldn't be Riell Truth. It wouldn't be this talk show. Because I'd be talking in a civilized manner about a civilized world. Instead, this show has been nicknamed the Daily Outrage, the Daily Fiasco, because every single day I come to you with things that are just unbelievable. A signpost. You know, when your kids are growing, you have them stand against the door frame and you make a mark over their head so that as the years go by, you can chart how they grow. Well, we're doing that in reverse. I'm charting on this show how low American society is falling. This was a major awards show on a major network. And the filth ran like water in the gutter. These are celebrities. Celebrities. And they're talking like 6th graders in the schoolyard. Even on TV, they can't censor their own language. It shows what Americans will accept, what we put up with, what we value. Because after all, if you go on TV and you don't use language like this, you're nowhere. You're square. You're boring. You're bland. Get out of here and let's get someone who's cutting edge on the air, right? Well, I scream and shout, you never hear language from this like this out of me. Nor will you. This is an outrage. Are you outraged? I hope you are. If you are, call me. Tell me you're outraged. I'll be on for another half an hour. You know the phone number. 877-254-7524. Does this piss you off? And if it doesn't, call me and tell me why. Because you know children watch the Golden Globes. And other people who don't want obscenities poured into their brain also watch. But then again, we're not the cultural elite. We're not rich and famous. We don't have people spending hours of their day slobbering over our stupid TV shows, reading the gossip pages to find out what's going on in our lives. What's going on in the lives of these celebrities? Trash. That's what's going on. Item from RasmussenReports.com. A former federal prosecutor recently made headlines for his prediction that Hillary Clinton will be indicted soon for trafficking in classified information on a private email server while working as Secretary of State. But should a criminal indictment put Clinton's bid for the Democratic presidential nomination on hold? Just over half of Democrats say no. 46% of all likely U.S. voters think a political candidate who's charged with a felony while running for office should immediately stop campaigning. A new Rasmussen Report national telephone survey finds that just as many, 47%, feel that a candidate should continue running until a court determines their guilt or innocence. Unquote. So here's the translation, my friends, because I also do translation here. I take the news and I turn it into English. The people who want Hillary Clinton to be president, they don't care if she's guilty of crimes, which she obviously is. They don't care if she's trash. They don't care if she's making America more vulnerable to attack. They don't care if she would eat her way through a pile of corpses just to be president. They want a woman president. That's all they know, and believe me, that is all that they know. She could do just about anything. Legal, illegal, moral, immoral, and they'd still vote for her. That is the dead weight that America carries. Voters who don't know, and voters who just plain don't care. I'll be back. All right, guys, welcome back to Riell Truth. Howard Riell. I have got a treat for you, cutting edge. It is Donald Trump's newest ad, and in it, he makes quite a convincing case for why he should be president. We're going to cut in. Here we go. Listen up. And my friends, if we don't, then we owe our children and grandchildren an explanation about why we let the country go to hell on our watch. Why we weren't activists. It's a time-worn cliche, but each and every one of us needs to step up. Not just me. I happen to have a radio show. Why don't you have a radio show on the internet? You can. Doesn't cost anything. You can set it up. Why aren't you going through the news sites, finding items of interest and of importance and sharing them with everybody and talking to friends and relatives and coworkers about this? If you're not, then you're not doing everything that you might. And if you're not doing everything you might, you're letting down your children and your country and yourselves. So get busy. I don't tell you to get angry for nothing. Don't get angry at your spouse. Don't get angry at the gardener. Get angry at injustice and people who want to steal our country from us and destroy it. Get angry at them, because that's righteous indignation and righteous anger. Item from muslimstatistics.wordpress.com. The total Muslim population in Sweden is estimated at 4.4%, according to 2013 figures. Out of that 4.4%, and in deducting women and children, we can roughly guesstimate that around 2% are male. The foreign rape figures at 77.6% Muslim has been anonymously confirmed by Swedish politicians in a phone conversation. The actual figure could be higher. These percentages do not include Muslims with Swedish citizenship contained within rapes in the figures categorized under Swedish nationals. Unquote. My friends, let me boil it down for you. In Sweden, 2% of the population is Muslim males, and they account for 77.6% of the rapes. You do the math. Item from Breitbart. Europe has barely even seen the start of the migrant influx. Germany's development minister has warned. Gerd Mueller said only 10% of Syrian and Iraqi migrants have reached Europe so far, and, quote, 8 to 10 million are still on the way, with even more to come from Africa. The biggest movements are ahead. Africa's population will double in the coming decades, he told Bild am Sonntag, adding, quote, in the Sahara, up to 1 million people have died trying to escape. The European Commission, he added, has lost a significant amount of authority thanks to the crisis. The protection of external borders is not working. Schengen has collapsed. I don't know what Schengen is. A fair distribution of refugees has not taken place. Unquote. My friends, what would a fair distribution of refugees be regarding the United States? Here's my suggestion. 0. Item from Jay Busby. Donald Trump may be the only person in America outside of the residents of Cincinnati and Minneapolis who's watched these NFL playoffs and doesn't like what he sees. Football has become soft like our country has become soft, the GOP presidential frontrunner told a campaign rally in Reno, Nevada on Sunday. We're going soft, just like the NFL, we're going soft. Perhaps Trump didn't see the plays in which blah, 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 blah. I won't give you the extra yah-yah, my friends. The bottom line is this: America has gone soft. You don't believe me? Look at the criminal justice system. Used to be if someone committed a crime, the sky dropped on him. He was finished. These days, no, doesn't happen. Used to be when people came from another country and committed outrageous crimes, we stopped the flow of people from that country. These days, it's not nice. You don't want anyone to call you not nice. You don't want to commit a microaggression. That's America, and that's what Donald Trump is railing correctly against. Item from TheIntercept.com. Democratic presidential candidate Bernie Sanders this week assailed rival Hillary Clinton for taking large speaking fees from the financial industry since leaving the State Department. According to public disclosures, by giving just 12 speeches to Wall Street banks, private equity firms, and other financial corporations, Clinton made $2.9 million between 2013 and 2015. Unquote. My friends, it shows two things in play. One, Hillary Clinton is owned by the special interest, owned by all the people who don't give a rat's ass about you or me because they want what they want no matter what happens to us. Number two, it shows that Bernie Sanders finally is learning how to get up on his hind legs and say something that won't make Hillary Clinton smile. Every time I see him on TV, he's apologizing to her. Maybe he's finally wised up a bit. We'll take a break. Riell Truth will continue.